Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another PlayStation 5 review. Today's review is for Elden Ring, the highly anticipated game from Software. Now, hands up guys, I am not like a massive fan when it comes to the From Software games. I don't have an issue obviously with their quality or anything like that. I generally speaking have avoided the From Software games because I find them a little bit too difficult, a little bit too punishing, a little bit too frustrating. But I know there's a real market out there. They've created their own genre, if you like, of these Souls-type games that are quite punishing but rewarding to play. Now, I have tried a couple of them in the past, but like I said, I just find them a little bit too frustrating to play. So I've had my eyes on Elden Ring for quite a while, with a little bit of skepticism, because everyone's been sort of saying, well, this is going to be From Software's first attempt at an open world, to spread their wings into an open world RPG type of game. And I've, like you probably, I have watched an awful lot of reviews from some of the top game reviewers on YouTube about this game, and everybody's been singing its praises, giving it 9s, 10s, all that kind of stuff, saying it's absolutely brilliant and it's a real way to get into the From Software games because they're not as punishing as the Souls games. Well, my attempt with this review, guys, is to give you a really honest review of this game. I don't carry the baggage of the From Software games because, like I say, I don't play them because I find them too frustrating. So this was my attempt to get into their version of their open world game, that is supposedly like an entry game for their sort of games, in a sense of it's a tad easier and not just as punishing. Also, everybody keeps saying. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that that's kind of true, but not entirely true. Now look, I'm a veteran of RPGs. I play an awful lot of RPGs. I am not unskilled at these sort of games, you know. I'm pretty good at playing them and picking up the mechanics and all that kind of stuff. I've got to tell you though, guys, this game I think is still quite punishingly hard. From memory, from playing the From Software games, it doesn't feel just as punishing as those games, granted. You do have some ways, which I will talk about a little bit later, of making the experience a little bit less frustrating and a little bit easier, I suppose. But trust me, you are going to die an awful lot in this game. And in my opinion, the first 10 hours, possibly a little bit more, is a rough ride for any of you out there who find these Souls type games difficult and frustrating. You're going to find the learning curve here really a struggle, because I certainly did. I found the first 10 hours of this game to be an upward struggle, and more than a couple of times I did consider packing it in. And if it wasn't for the fact that I really wanted to get a review up for this game, I pushed myself through it. I got my character a little bit stronger, and I finally got over that learning curve, that bump, the first 10 hours or so, and the game did start to get a little bit more rewarding for me. And yeah, so just be warned, guys. If you've been waiting to try this one out because you're just not sure if it's going to be too hard for you as the other From Software games are, well, I'm here to tell you it is still quite a tough experience. But if you do persevere, it will ultimately reward you. So what is the game about then? Well, essentially you are what is called a tarnished. You've risen up and you have got to go into the lands beyond and become an Elden Lord. That's as much as I'm going to go into the story here. Now, quite uniquely for an RPG, this game does not hold your hand at all in regards to story, progression, or anything like that. You are let out into the world once you get through the first initial area. You go into the open world and you can literally do what you want, go where you want. And there's very little guidance of what you should or shouldn't be doing next. there's only like subtle hints. Once you find like certain map markers, and there will be like a sprinkling of gold that will kind of point you in the right direction. But generally speaking, if you just follow those directions, you're going to get absolutely your ass handed to you very, very quickly in the game because you're not going to be leveled up enough. So the game actually encourages exploration, and that is, for me, the strongest part of this game, the sense of discovery and the exploration. Where you can just go off the beaten path and start exploring, seeing what you can find, seeing what items you can find, because there is so much loot scattered about. Sometimes it's from enemies that you'll kill. Sometimes it'll be from chests that you find. Sometimes it'll be from like some of the bosses that you kill. There's so much loot, and it is very, very rewarding to explore. So it's amongst the top rankers, I think, in regards to encouraging exploration and just getting on your steed. Once you get your steed, and it doesn't take you long to get your steed, you just you need to rest at three of like the camps. You've got to rest there 3 times, and then you'll be given the access to your steed torrent, and then you can traverse the map. And if you don't like the look of one area, you'll go into one area. Maybe, for example, I kind of stumbled upon this dragon that we've all seen in the cutscenes on YouTube and stuff, and it was way too powerful for me at the level I was at, so I just kind of shot past it on the horse until I got to the point where I found myself to be stronger, and I went back. For me, I've really have struggled with a lot of the boss battles, a lot of the bigger enemies in the game. I find them easier to battle on horseback with torrent, but you can't do that with all the bosses. Sometimes you're not allowed to do that because it's in a smaller arena, and those are when I find the bosses really, really difficult. It is about memorizing patterns and all this kind of stuff, but I think it is quite punishing in regards to battling these enemies. You will get to the point in the game where you will be able to access magic depending on the build that you go into the game. There's 8 classes that you could choose from at the beginning. You could choose a male or a female character. 8 classes. I went into with it kind of like, I always like to be like a Conan type character, so I kind of went in as the hero character, I think. Kind of a melee build. But you can go in whatever you want, you know. And even if you choose a character that is more geared towards magic, you can still make that character quite a powerful melee character as well. You've got the ability during the game when you're leveling up to put your stats in any part that you want to make them stronger with melee, stronger with magic, better vitality, better endurance, better dexterity, whichever you want. You've got the freedom to kind of build the character that you want. So do you want to be a mage and fire magic from a distance? Do you want to be like a ranger sort of thing, or do you want to be like a tank type build? It is completely up to you, and that's something the game does really, really well. You're also able to, quite early in the game, you are given access to these spirit animals or creatures, whatever you want to call them, that will come and you can call into battle, and they will come and help you in battles and things like that in an area that is deemed to be a little bit more difficult. Perhaps you can call them into battle and they will fight amongst your side, and they are, I found, to be really, really invaluable. There's a real different approach to certain aspects. If you just go in all guns blazing, sometimes you genuinely are not going to do particularly well. Sometimes stealth is the key. Sometimes just charging through an area, as I've just done there, just to get through it, is the best option. Sometimes you don't have to stand and fight, because too many enemies will mean that you're going to be outnumbered and you're going to get killed pretty quickly. So the game does reward using your brains a little bit and being a bit more tactical. And it's a real mix and blend of different combat styles, this game, and it really does, and it does allow you to do that. Another massive strength of the game, I think. In regards to performance, there's quite a lot of popping, I'm not going to lie. It is quite distracting, but I'm quite a tolerant gamer. They don't usually bother me, these sort of things, but I have found it to be a little bit distracting, the popping. The hit detection sometimes I don't think is great. Sometimes you'll swing at an enemy that you could swear blind that your massive sword would definitely hit, and it doesn't. And the camera at times is not sometimes great. When you're in quite a frantic battle and you're running about the place, the camera is not always your friend. So there are some issues here in regards to the game. It's not like, you know, the most polished game on the face of the earth or anything like that, but it is certainly to a good standard. And I've played certainly a hell of a lot worse games when it comes to popping and things like that. The graphics, well, take a look for yourself, guys. It is pretty stunning to look at. It is a beautiful game. It's designed beautifully. Like I say, you will go to different areas of the map, different locations, and they all have distinct ways of looking, and they're all very, very beautiful. And the way some of the enemies and the creatures are designed, and the bosses, I mean, they're just staggering. They're really beautiful to look at, even if they are a pain in the ass to kill sometimes. So, I mean, if like me, you had your doubts about this game because you worried it was a little bit too tough, well, you know, it might be worth waiting for a sale, guys, because trust me, the game is pretty tough still. I found the first 10 or 12 hours to certainly be a real challenge. But honestly, once you get your character a little bit stronger and you learn the mechanics of the game a little bit better, it is far more rewarding and a little bit easier. So it is worth plundering through and getting through that difficult part, the frustrating part of the game. And you will ultimately be rewarded with a very good game. Is it the masterpiece that some people are making out? No, not in my opinion. Like I say, I'm a veteran of RPGs, and to be honest, I've played better RPGs. I'm not going to lie, but that's not to say it's a bad game, because I think it is in some ways quite a remarkable game, and it is very good and very addictive. But it's not going to be in my, you know, list of favourite RPGs of all time. So I'm going to give it, still a very strong 8.5 out of 10, and that's only because, like I say, I'm not a veteran of the From Software games, and I found the game to still be quite a tough experience. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review, and of course I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very soon.